And we kick things off with long establishing shots to fill time. Alucard fishing with his bare hands and killing the fish with a fast and precise hit. Now imagine the fish was a human. Yeah, this show is about to get a lot dumber. For example, this is how he has been doing for the past month. He goes back home, prepares a meal, and talks to dolls of Trevor and Cypher that he made for conversation. Conversation that doesn't even make sense. He mocks Trevor, impersonating him as a drunk mud humper, which is their shtick, they jab at each other, but then he impersonates Cypher as an obnoxious know-it-all, even though she wasn't.
Because I'm smarter than everybody in one day.
She was proud of knowing a few things, but that's it. So, is that supposed to be part of his insanity? Or are we retconning her? I don't know. Eventually he snaps out of it, and realizes that despite only being a month since season 2, he's going insane. So insane in fact that he says that out loud to nobody in particular. Not even to the dolls, which is how we are supposed to know it's been a month.
It's only been a month. I think.
Man, we are rolling downhill quick. There are hundreds of years of knowledge in need of keeping. Half of it is in a polycapped cave with a massive hole in it. They need to be moved and catalogued. That's a good way to stay busy. It can also give him a lot of conversation material for when he uses the Carpathian mirrors to talk to his friends. Because they are still working. They weren't destroyed at any point and they can be reactivated by anyone that knows the language, like he did in the Belmont Hold. The only reason Alucard isn't doing any of that is to keep him in a depressed and lonely state in order to facilitate the bullshit that is going to happen later. It is extremely stupid. Meanwhile, somewhere, Trevor and Cypher are waiting for a monster ambush, while having a very quirky conversation that they should have had very early on their travels, since it's been a month. They are very, very confident in their ability to deal with the trap, and that makes the next few moments extremely funny. 4 monsters surround them, 2 weird looking ones from the front, a minotaur looking one from the back, and a werewolf looking one from the side. For some reason they all behave like common bandits, slow walking to their victims instead of acting like what they are, and savagely jumping on them, which is very lucky for our annoying little couple.
4.
Yep.
Doomed.
Really are.
Cypher uses her ice wind magic to launch herself into the atmosphere, then uses fire to keep herself there for some time. What was shown before is that by using wind gusts, she could propel herself up a few feet and slow her fall. Fire magic was relegated to fights and for light. Not for this. I guess she flies now. Sozin's comet must be passing by. In a single month, not only did she become extremely more confident and quirky than she was by the end of season 2,
Like a toddler with a thistle up his back end.
she also became incredibly stupid. Instead of using her fire to roast them completely, because these demons are not immune like the ones in Grashit, or using ice spikes to skewer them and be done with it, she sprays them with a little bit of fire, then goes back to the ground in order to fight them in close combat. Because she's good at that now. Luckily, one of them got sprayed enough to run away, and the other is so fucking weak, I can't even begin to conceive how it survived until now. She kills the weak one and runs after the other by making small ice platforms in the air to rise above the trees. Not to find the creature, mind you, she knows where it's going. It's to catch up by running on them. She's running the same way she did on the ground, meaning she's not moving any faster than before, but this time she's doing it on top of little discs.
Right.
The amount of time it took her to reach up there would give the monster an edge, but it doesn't. So she jumps off a platform and creates an ice spear on the way down to kill the creature, somehow negating the laws of physics to avoid dying when she hits the ground. You can truly learn a lot in a month. Meanwhile, Trevor kills the Minotaur, because not only did it immediately destroy the wagon with its massive axe, it got moved way further back between shots, giving Trevor enough time to get up and one-shot it. Then he sits back down to calm the horses and seemingly forgets about the werewolf, that then charges at him. The damn thing takes so fucking long to reach the wagon that it got me questioning what exactly was going on when this scene was made. They gave Trevor 5 business days to react, and still they just have him let that happen. He blocks the werewolf's mouth with his forearm on the last second, but then they forget that his clothes are not made of vibranium. We do get a quick shot of the werewolf slapping the Morningstar away, but of course the plot doesn't let that be a problem either. They fall on the ground and Trevor knees it in the chest, which practically does nothing, and then the werewolf grabs him by the head, which means he should be dead, but of course he doesn't kill him, instead just tosses him away.
What if I said I was sorry?
As usual. Then he fist fights the werewolf, which shouldn't be effective, but it certainly is. He punches it in the throat, then tries to break its leg. The werewolf heals from that, so he does it again, and that works, giving him enough time to push the werewolf's head until its neck breaks. That is not how that works. Breaking its leg means it doesn't have any balance, so if you push it, it will only fall back or go limp, which it should be doing by its own volition, because it would be easier than going against your momentum. The werewolf is not affixed in that position just because it has a broken leg. It can move, but it doesn't, because someone thought this looked cool. What a stupid fight scene and a waste of time. Sypha catches up, they have some meaningless quirky conversation about a road pirate, and Trevor decides to take the werewolf's body with them, to assure the people of the next town that they are friendly.
Well, it's been quite a month.
And nothing of value was gained. Meanwhile, Carmilla arrives at her castle. Greeting her are 2 of her sisters, Big Borda and Gingerbread, who love Carmilla very much.
We'd almost given up hope.
I'm sure they will be great characters. They ask why it took her a whole month to reach the place, and she explains that humans attacked them, killing their horses in the process, and then there were creatures of the night that went insane for some reason, and then other vampires fighting for power. In summation, she's annoyed. She also tells them to take it to the dungeon and give it below minimum care. It being Hector, the Forge Master she's going to need for her army. Thank God infections aren't a thing in this universe. Can you imagine if he dies from the mistreatment? At any point, her plan goes to shit. Is very lucky. Inside the castle, they meet the 4th sister, Chocolate Pie. She asks why Carmilla took so long, and she gives the same answer she gave the other 2. And then they collectively reassure her, because they really look up to Carmilla.
Welcome back to your castle and your realm.
It's us against the world, Carmilla. Same as it always was.
Why couldn't this entire conversation happen at the entrance, instead of happening twice? Was it because someone wanted to have a quirky scene, and didn't know where to put it? Or was it just for filler?
Oh, bless your dead little hearts.
What a way to properly use your time and endear me to them, the sisterhood of the teething coochies. Great. From there we cut to the town of Lindenfeld. A man is trying to buy apples. This is Count Saint Germain, an alchemist in real life, a time traveler in the Castlevania games, and a something in the show. The merchant raised the price to 2 denarius an apple. In an attempt to haggle with her, he offers a grosch. She reiterates the price, implying the coin is acceptable, the problem is the amount. But after Germain tells her a grosch is equivalent to 2 denarius, she says they, as in the people, don't accept Eastern coins.
We don't truck with that Eastern money around here. Proper coin, Mr. Saint Germain.
She was not animated or dubbed in a way that transmits ambiguity. She clearly means what she says, so the fuck is happening? As a response, he closes his hand on the coin, and 3 extra and identical coins magically appear, and that makes it acceptable.
My apples, if you please.
I narrated the scene because it is supposed to convey Saint Germain as a rather shrewd and mysterious individual. But not only does he lose the haggling, he only gets what he wants by virtue of them both ignoring what she said. Either have the problem be the amount or the origin, or have her actually be lying about the coin. As it is, it's just fucking stupid. Moving on, Trevor and Cypher arrive at the town, with the werewolf being dragged behind.
It's a little late for new arrivals, isn't it? I trust this isn't a bolder breed of brigand. Or that imbecile who put wheels on his boat again.
First of all, who are you talking to? Second of all, that is the second time someone mentions the road pirate. He's apparently a reference to one of the main protagonists of Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, the game that serves as a basis for this show, and in both instances, they make fun of him. Is he supposed to be a joke in the game, or to the fans? Should anybody be bothered about that? Because it ain't funny on its own. Anyway, a very well-dressed man appears, with a crowd of people from God knows where, and Trevor tells him he heard of night creatures attacking the vicinity, and he responds with,
If you mean, were terrible naked bastards from hell trying to eat people in the forest, then yes.
This is the part where you're supposed to laugh!
No, he meant night creatures.
You stupid mother...
It doesn't help that he is apparently the town judge and essentially mayor, so he should be a lot more formal and does behave very cordially for the rest of the conversation. So what was that little line?
You are made of stupid.
Cypher then explains to Trevor what it means for him to be called a town judge, because in the span of a month, she not only became more quirky and confident and overpowered, she also became an obnoxious know-it-all. We can add magical foresight to Alucard's powers.
That is a very old term for the headman and landlord of a town, from the time before boyars and lords.
They really wanted to get that information across, and they couldn't find a way to do it. Happened a few times already, scenes being molded for the sake of a line they want you to hear, irrelevant of its effect on the story, or lack thereof. I just realized that now. If you don't know how to make them more organic, then cut it.
What is your name?
I'm simply the judge.
How much wanna bet they won't give him a name to make a malformed point later? This show can't be that stupid. Suddenly the monks from the nearby priory appear and act like the most suspicious season villains ever.
Did you kill it?
That's right. The horde betrayed Dracula at Barela. Murder at the hands of vagabonds and a long dragging behind the wagon is no less than they deserve.
No. Actually, they are not Dracula's. Hector's demons have blue eyes, and Isaac's have red eyes, so they either shouldn't be from anybody, or the writer forgot his own color system.
Betrayed him.
Dracula is dead. Didn't you hear?
To summarize this scene, word of the church's actions got out, and even in backwater towns, people found out about Lisa's death being the cause of the demon invasion. That, apparently, drove the monks mad, so they now believe Dracula to have been a messiah that would reunite us all in hell, meaning they heavily dislike his night hordes, who they believe betrayed him in Brela, even though they weren't involved in any way for some reason, and the people that killed Dracula, whoever they are. I'm not even going to question how anyone knows about Brela, all things considered. Instead, I'm just going to move on with the knowledge that all of that information is now available to our beloved couple of monster hunters. Moving on, some guy offers money for some werewolf teeth. Trevor is more than happy to trade, but Cypher complains without giving any reason, then backs off under the promise of a better place to sleep.
For food and for somewhere to sleep that isn't the back of the wagon.
Oh, that might be nice.
Then Trevor wants beer, finds beer, drinks beer, vocally says that it's better than sex, Cypher gets angry, destroys beer, and storms off.
Well, no, not...
We all have absolutely random conversations. They can even be downright gibberish. But this is in real life. If this doesn't lead anywhere, then there is no point beyond wasting time. But I'm sure that is not the sole reason behind it. I'm sure.